Okay, so now it's time to start adding water to the tank, but first of all you've got to know a few little things. Obviously this is going to be a saltwater tank, so it's going to be a reef tank, so you can either buy your salt water already from your pet shop, which is quite an easy way to start. It can get quite expensive, and secondly you've got to try and find a salt mix that you want to use. I'm going for Tropic Marin Pro Reef. It's a man-made salt. It contains everything that it's designed specially for reef tanks, and it's a completely synthetic man-made salt. It's got everything that your corals and fish will need to thrive. So it's had amazing reviews. I've done a lot of research into this, so this is the one I've chosen to use. I'm not going to go too much into it, but if you look online you'll see that this is really popular at the moment. Then also what you've got to do is you can't just mix it with tap water. So what you've got to do is you've got to have some form of reverse osmosis deionized water, which is basically a very, very, very clean water, because the water that comes out of our taps, you can test for something called TDS, which is total dissolved solids. And here in Brighton it's very high. There's all sorts of different things in the water. You won't know exactly what it is, but there's chlorine, there's calcium, there's copper, there's anything from like old Victorian pipes and anything like that. And so that can cause unwanted issues in your tank if you're using tap water, especially in a reef tank, and you can get lots of algae problems and things like that. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to clean our tap water. You can buy this water from your local pet shop. It does work out a little bit expensive. I would really recommend anybody going for a reef tank to actually have the ability to make RO water, because you're also going to be wanting to use that as a replacement for your top-up water, because your tank is going to evaporate water, because especially this one has no lids or braces. The evaporation, and it's only going to evaporate fresh water, it's not going to evaporate the salt, so you will want to top the tank up every day with some fresh RO water. So it's really handy to have that ability to make that water like as and when you need it, especially if something's to go wrong, then you can make up fresh salt water. So I'm going to show you what I do and how I make my RO water. Okay, so this is my V2 Pure RO unit, and basically you can attach it to your washing machine outlet, or put another washing machine outlet underneath your sink, which is what I've done, and then you can add this unit to it. And what this does is it purifies the water. The red tube coming out is your wastewater, and the blue tube is your nice clean RO DI water. What's really nice about this unit is, if you see here, it's got an inline TDS meter, so you can press that and you can see that the water coming in is 343 TDS, so that is like very high, but then the water leaving is 0, and that's what you want, so that's what you want to keep an eye on. I've actually got a booster pump on mine so that I can actually hit that, and it actually speeds up the process, which is really good. So the amount of water that I can make, you can see here, I can actually make quite a lot of water quite quickly, and it's a beautiful luxury to be able to make it on tap. So once you've made the amount of water that you need, then it's time to add the salt. Okay, so what else I've done is I've just put in a little pump there just to help circulate the water, and just a little wave maker there, and that's just going to help keep it spinning so it can sort of mix for a good few hours, make sure it's all mixed up. I've also got this cup, which is actually good for every 10 litres, so it just means I don't have to weigh too much out, so 6 of these in each of these buckets. Alright, so this is a really handy bit of kit. This is your reef factometer. You literally take some salt water from your bucket, and then you just pop a little bit of it on the lens here, and then you can just pop this down, and then you look through this end. Alright guys, so in the complete interest of just keeping things super easy for myself, is I've just hooked up a small pump, and it's just going to make my life so much easier, because I'm just going to be able to pump the water straight into the tank. So here we go, first water in the tank. So all I've done, we're 1 barrel in, and I'm just putting a couple of filter socks just to catch any little particles that are still in the water from possibly from the sand or from the rock, just to try and get it as polished as possible. And now, before we start the pump, the next thing we've got to do is add the heater. So this is a 200 watt heater, perfect size for this tank, suitable for salt water. And what's really good with these ones is they've got the thermostat. It's actually a digital readout, so you can put it at 25 degrees and you know that it's going to stay at 25 degrees. Really important that you've got one that's on a thermostat, otherwise you don't want to cook everybody, and you don't want them to freeze either. Okay, so finally full, and you can hear that it's actually really quiet. So yeah, it's all running now. Put the heater in, set that for 25 degrees. I've just popped a couple of filter socks over there just to catch any little bits left over from the sand. You can see it's a little bit cloudy, it's not too bad. And there we go, all running, all full. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video, all about filling up the tank with water. So we've put in RO water, we've mixed it with salt, and now we've got the tank full. So the next video is going to be all about water movement and waves and what have you, and flow in the tank.